Bro, you know it's crazy. I mean, you said people said that I was crazy about my James Harden statement.
Yeah.
About the not. You know it's funny, bro. Numbers don't lie. So we get easy, bro. Scroll back to the Instagram post of the question of if James Harden is the greatest offensive player.
That wasn't a question. That was for like to get people to click on the episode. I didn't say he was the greatest offensive player of all time.
Well, I'm saying that you're saying someone play this. What am I being called crazy for?
You're being called crazy because you're saying that he's not at the table with Michael Jordan, Kobe, and Kevin Durant. That's why I'm calling you crazy.
I just need chips. That's not too much to ask for. But I don't want to repeat an episode.
That's fine.
So, but to get started on this one, man. So there's been a report, right? IT, Lance, and Monta Ellis, they all worked out.
Hold on. We actually started now, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think keep this part in there too.
Okay, I'm just trying to make sure. I'm just trying to make sure.
Oh, you need a countdown. You're a 3, 2, 1 type of guy.
I'm just trying to make sure you ready because I'm always ready.
Bro, come on, man.
Okay, IT, Lance Stephenson and Monta Ellis reported that they're interested. The Dallas Mavericks are interested in bringing them in. That's very interesting, especially Monta Ellis. What do you think?
I'm definitely happy for Monta. I mean, I kind of expected as IT and a little bit of Lance, but the Monta one caught me off guard. But I'm definitely happy. All three of them are at least getting a shot, or at least getting a workout, to kind of come back to the league and prove themselves. How do you think though, if one of them were to end up with the Mavericks, talk to me about that fit?
I think Lance Stephenson makes a lot of sense. Two-way ability, he can handle the ball, take some of the pressure off of Luka Doncic. Also, he can play defense, score a little bit, do a lot of good things on the offense and defensive side of the ball. But IT looks right, man. He looks healthy. I feel like if IT goes to the right situation where he gets like real minutes, even though they got Jalen Brunson, so it's going to be like another small guard. Basically, they're going to be battling out in practice to see like who's going to get minutes and stuff like that. But like IT looks healthy. The runs he's been in, like his shape, his quickness, he looks like he has his first step back. He also his shooting ability. I know it's just pro-am runs, but he looks good.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we all kind of seen the game he had recently. But I mean, like, even though, like you said, it is pro runs, it would just be dope to kind of see him back on the basketball court and to see how he would fit either alongside Luka or backing Luka up in terms of like them giving them another point guard that can handle the ball and score. That would just be dope. I mean, Lance, he would definitely bring, I think, something that the entire team needs, and that's toughness. And not to say that they're not that already, but Lance would definitely be good. And Monta, just scoring wise, I mean, we know he's been around the league for a very long time, and he's always been a scorer, and he's always been a guy that can play long minutes. But I mean, we talked before about the Mavs offseason, and people had some issues with it.
A lot of issues.
And so to see, where they're at now, it's like, all right, well, at least they're doing something. At least they're making some sort of effort to know that, hey, let's bring these guys in and see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying. They're trying. I mean, this is if you ask Mavericks fans, they still gonna be like, well, Isaiah Thomas, Lance Stevens, Monta Ellis haven't played in the league in a long time, so it's kind of like
keep it a stat, bro. What, in all honesty, what do you think Mavericks fans want?
I think Mavericks fans want a legit big three. I think that's what they need. I think if you look at the Western Conference and you look at like the Eastern Conference, there's a lot of big threes are forming. So you got Porzingis, and people talk about Porzingis, but like Porzingis hasn't been used right offensively in the offense, basically for the past 2 seasons. And we know he's been hurt up and down with his injuries and stuff like that. So that also plays a factor. So then you got Luka Doncic as well. They need a guy that can, a shot creator. You need a true shot creator. A guy like a Monta Ellis. And Monta Ellis was in his prime. I don't think Monta Ellis, coming in at the age of 33, 34 years old, I don't think, that's the perfect fit for to be that, second go-to scorer. Right. They got Tim Hardaway, a 3-and-D guy, but they need a guy that can handle the ball, that can create off the dribble, that can get buckets, and give Luka Doncic a breather, and basically somebody that Luka Doncic can trust. Because Luka Doncic likes to have the ball in his hands. He likes to run offense. He likes to score. He likes to get stats. He likes to get assists. He likes all that stuff. But like if he has a guy that he can trust, like a partner in crime, similar to like when LeBron James had Dwayne Wade and when LeBron James had Kyrie Irving, you're going to see a different version of Luka Doncic because he's already an unselfish player. So if he has a guy that he can really trust, like, yo, he can create the offense. He can create off the dribble. He can do some things. He can take some pressure off of me. He will get that ball up. I believe he will. Some people say, he's selfish. Some people say he's just a selfish player. He just cares about his stats. But I think he would get that ball up. If he had like a CJ McCollum, if he had like a DeMar DeRozan, if he had like a, who's could potentially be a free agent next year or a trade piece, depending on how the Bulls do this season, Zach LaVine, like he needs somebody that he can say, yo, he feels comfortable, give him the ball to, and trusts them to like, yo, can create their own shot and get a bucket. So right now, it's a lot of trust issues with Luka, I feel, with the Dallas Mavericks, especially this roster.
Okay, watch this. Scale of 1 to 10. What's the likelihood that Luka Doncic wins MVP this year?
0.
I mean, the question was 1 to 10, but I hear you.
I say, well, so I want you at a 1. 1 to club. I think it's a 1. It's great.
One is very tough, bro. 1 is very tough.
I think, to be honest, because I picked him to win last year. I thought he was going to have he had the narrative. He had all these things going for him in his favor. We know people love Luka Doncic, but I think this year it's just kind of like, unless the Dallas Mavericks are a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, and they could be with some of these injuries, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I was going to say it, bro. I mean, I think they could, if they get in that top 4 area, then, maybe there's a discussion. But then when you start thinking about the teams that would eventually be in that top 4, like you said, with injuries, I'm not saying that I have them in my top 4, but, anything can kind of happen over the course of a season.
I mean, we saw Nikola Jokic. He took them, they were top 4 seed, right? Top 3 seed this year. And he didn't even have Jamal Murray. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's possible, but I don't know if Luka's going to be able to do it with that roster. You know what I'm saying?
And I definitely, you're dealing with a new coach in Dallas too.
Jason Kidd,
Denver, I mean, I definitely like Denver's squad though. I mean, I know obviously Jamal went down, but in terms of their depth, overall talent,
Michael
I know
Jr.
people. Yeah, I know people are going to bring up the Portland thing because how they, I won't say they folded, but they lost to a team who lost their second best player. But Denver has some guys. But it is what it is. I mean, but look, go ahead.
Let's look at the top. Let's just assume everybody's healthy, other than like the Denver Nuggets, because they're not gonna have Jamal for a little minute, and the Clippers they're probably not gonna have Kawhi. But we just saw Paul George beat Paul George beat teams by himself. So Paul George being the number 1 option, his mindset is already different. Like it's different. We got the Paul George kind of back in Indy now. Not this Paul George that's got to play second fiddle because he knows that he's the go-to guy. So let's just say the Lakers. Let's say the Utah Jazz. Let's say I'm gonna say the Clippers. I'm gonna say Denver, even without Jamal Murray. Those are 4 teams right there that I think are better than. I would
throw the Suns.
The Suns, of course. Those are 5 teams right there I think that are better than the Dallas Mavericks. So which 5th team is he knocking out to have a chance to get MVP in that top 4? You probably say the Clippers, but like I said, we just saw Paul George go to the Western Conference Finals being the man. Like it's serious now. Like he got his mojo back. Like them demons are good. Them demons are gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
It's for real. He said last season he on people's asses. He showed in this last playoffs, like, yo, he's back. Like,
and I like the comparison to, I mean, just the idea of mentioning Indiana Paul George, because we know how scary, he was, just kind of bringing, that Indiana team. So that would be something special to kind of see him continue this. But you mentioned Big 3 earlier, and for the first time ever, even though I'm getting ready to mention the Nets, the first, names that I would talk about isn't the actual Big 3. But they ended up landing Paul Millsap, as well as possibly LA. So now, LA again. So now it's even more All-Stars that could be possibly heading to Brooklyn. So does this change your answer or how you feel about who's winning the chip / and how many games they win the chip?
No, I don't. I'm still not gonna make a prediction yet, but it's basically, the richest keeps getting richer. The Lakers, they're stacked with vets, and the Nets are stacked with vets. Paul Millsap is another guy that can can defend 1 through 5 on the basketball court at time, probably in his prime, probably not now, but like he can defend, shoot a little bit, he can pass a little bit. Then you get LA. If LA's healthy and right, he's going to start at the center position. And then you probably roll out a lineup with Kyrie, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin in LA. And it's just kind of like, that's going to be tough. That's a tough lineup.
Yeah, I mean, and now too, you add 2 guys, or potentially in LA, 2 guys who can score from the low block, and then you already had 3 guys who can score from the perimeter without needing anyone else. And obviously, KD, can do work in the post too, but just now you got 2 guys who you just dumping down low to and just kind of let them rock. Yeah. A lot of people saying that Brooklyn is out here signing everybody, and just the narrative of, dang, it really takes this much to beat LeBron. But even though I think the signings of Paul Millsap and, again, possibly LA, I don't think those were done to like, oh shit, we got to make sure we got everybody, gang up. It's more of a, they realize that if they had a weakness, then maybe that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't like any of those guys that's going to take away minutes from Claxton though. Because I think Claxton is their best, potentially their best overall defender that they have. Like he's serious. Like 6'11", athletic, can run the floor, can guard out on the perimeter, can also switch and guard. The low block and the post angle, the post as well. Not the post angle. I'm tripping, but yeah, He's good. So I don't know if I wouldn't want Paul Millsap to take some of his minutes, but like probably they're going to use him in the regular season. Then you have your vets in the playoffs when it matters the most. So it's kind of like similar to Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo just signed with the Los Angeles Lakers. People are talking about like, oh, he's going to take away some minutes from Kendrick Nunn and Monk. I don't really see that. I think I look at certain players like a Paul Millsap, like a Rajon Rondo. I look at those players. Those players are 16-game players. And when I say that 16-game players, I mean those players are for the postseason. Those players are for guys like, Rajon Rondo, we need you to be a vet. We need you to show what you can do. Help us, with your championship mentality, everything you bring to the basketball court. Paul Millsap, same way. I don't think they're going to kill their vets in the regular season. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at Paul Millsap. That's also how I look at like Rajon Rondo.
Unfortunately, I think they have 2 guys they have guys that know that. And I think it's so important, like, for players to know their role. But once you reach that kind of stage in your career, you kind of know what type of time you want. You're playing again with 3 guys who could probably give you 40 in their sleep. Something tells me that he's not walking in there expecting to average 25 every night, which is a good thing, right? I mean, I think the idea of going after the ring is, that's the number 1 priority. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And also, it's just kind of like you said earlier, the Brooklyn Nets need size. They need like big men that can actually rebound. Like LA if he signs there, he's going to help with that. Paul Millsap, he's 6'8", but he can help with that. You got Claxton still, he can help with that. So defensively, it's still a big concern for the Brooklyn Nets as well, though. Because if you look at like some of these teams, Milwaukee can still defend. Like Milwaukee's still the best defensive team probably in the Eastern Conference. And not the Phoenix Suns, the Philadelphia Sixers. They can defend. So you got to look the Los Angeles Lakers. They got guys that can defend. So as great as the Brooklyn Nets are, and they're adding all these other pieces and stuff like that, and they even added Patty Mills. Patty Mills, and he's another pure scorer, guy that can come off the bench and go from 2 minutes in the game. Next thing you know, you look up at the box score, he got 8 points. You know what I'm saying? He's another guy that can get it done, but they still don't have defenders. Like I said, Claxton's probably their best overall defender. And after that, James Harden and Kevin Durant. You know what I'm saying? Like James Harden in the post, one of their best post defenders, and Kevin Durant is like probably your second best after Claxton, best perimeter defender. You know what I'm saying? That's like
Well, fortunately for them, they can score like crazy. And this is probably like the one team in probably league history who has this many type of scores where it's like defense will always matter, right? You always got to prevent the team from scoring, of course, obviously. But like when you can score at the pace they can, I think some of it is like, all right, well, we'll live if we give up a bunch of points because we know the firepower that we have. That but I mean, it's just gonna be interesting to see the entire Eastern Conference as a whole. I think the most common one who people have as favorites is probably Brooklyn. If they can remain healthy, but Don't sleep on Milwaukee, man.
Nah, yeah, you're right. Say it again because I
do not sleep on Milwaukee.
And don't sleep on Milwaukee because Milwaukee's are it's a difference between like when you're trying to get that first championship than when you already have done it. Like these guys, like they're champions. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to be intimidated by Kevin Durant, none of those guys. And also the Miami Heat. Don't be surprised this year if we see a different version of Miami Heat because they got Kyle Lowry. He's going to be a great addition. They re-signed Duncan Robinson, and then Jimmy Butler's going to be out for revenge as well. And I think Bam is going to take that next leap, take that next step. He was an all-star. Was he an all-star last year or the previous year?
Yeah, I don't think it was this year.
It was the previous year, right? He was an all-star?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last year.
Yeah, it was last year. That's what I'm saying. I'm looking for him to take the next step in year 4. I don't think he was. Was it? I don't know. Was he all-star? He made all-star.
I think, though, to be honest with you, 2020 All-Star Reserve.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But I think, though, like, the dopest part about Miami is that I think they're going to come back this year with something to prove.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Too, I can say that about Milwaukee. Ironically enough, like, the team who might have the most to prove is a team that just won the NBA Finals.
Yeah,
because they're probably tired of everyone saying they got lucky. They're probably tired. Like, even though obviously you win a chip, okay, you enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
You preach the idea of like, we don't care what anyone says, but very few people in this world are really saying like, oh yeah, this was people are blaming it was a COVID year. Yeah. So many players were hurt.
A lot of situations.
KD's toe. Like literally so many different things. And it's like, all right.
James Harden playing on one leg. That's why I was like, for people that were trolling like the Brooklyn Nets and stuff, and like I was kind of like, that you guys are just kind of corny because like if you look at it, like I had homies like trolling James Harden and this and that. I was kind of like, y'all really corny because it's just like if the circumstances was if you put Giannis on the Milwaukee Bucks and you swap Kevin Durant.
Wait, what you mean? You mean KD on the Bucks?
You put KD on the Bucks and you swapped Giannis, put him on the Brooklyn Nets. It would have been over. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a swap. It wouldn't even had a chance with those circumstances, you know? So it's just like, and it still took a fully healthy a fully healthy Milwaukee Bucks team to go 7 to beat them with a one-legged James Harden and no Kyrie Irving and a foot on the line. This overtime game 7. Like, come on now. That's what I'm saying, bro. So it's just kind of like, all right, Milwaukee fans, y'all won. Y'all got y'all chip. Y'all got y'all ring. But like I was saying earlier, that's why I was talking about the whole best in the world. I was like, once Giannis made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, I was like, I said, this is his best chance to win a championship. He's supposed to win a championship. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to, like, you were the best. You're 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Like, it was you, Paul George, Devin Booker, and Trae Young. Like, you look at those 4 players, who's supposed to win the championship? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you're supposed to get it done. And he got it done, of course. But still, it's just like, that's what I was saying. Pump the brakes.
All I'm going to say is not all players get it done, even though they're the best player, like, in a series. So I definitely agree. You know, he was supposed to get it done, and we're happy for him. But just because you're supposed to, don't mean I'm not going to at least say, yo, good job.
It was no obstacles in his way. It was no hurdles in his way, bro. If we be honest.
Kevin Durant's a hurdle.
I'm saying after he beat the Brooklyn Nets. They beat the Brooklyn Nets. You had Trae Young. Nobody thought the Hawks were going to beat her. Everybody thought it was going to be Philly. Then you had Paul George and
even in the NBA Finals, like, it's still a hurdle. Like, even though the Bucks were better, at the end of the day, it's still the NBA Finals. So did people think the Suns were going to win? Maybe not. Did they belong to be there? Whatever. But there's a reason why they were there. It ain't like, they just walked to the finals. I'm going to give the Suns some credit. They were a 2 seed after all throughout the course of the season. So they weren't bums. Giannis was by far the best player on that court, of course. But I'm not about to sit here and say, like, I don't think they were the worst team to ever make the NBA Finals.
Suns, no, of course not. But I will say that if you watch the first couple of games of the Los Angeles Lakers and Phoenix Suns series,
don't get me started on that.
If you watch the game, we know what happened. Like, it's just like, damn, Anthony Davis got her. Like, all right, here we go. We already knew it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And
No,
then
I don't want to hear that. 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 Because I don't think everybody knew it was a rap. I don't think everybody knew it was a rap. I don't think everybody knew it was a rap. I don't think everybody. Me, I was not. No, I did not think.
You thought they was going to beat. LeBron James was coming off a high ankle sprain. They were talking. LeBron James needed a couple series to get his rhythm, also get back healthy.
But I mean, he was still LeBron James. So in my eyes, he was a superhero, and I wasn't going to sit and say
your eyes.
I'm not saying I'm blaming him. I'm not saying.
I'm just saying, but that's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. But like this, if there was literally anyone else on the face of the earth, I'd be like, you know what, you're right. Pack it up, be good. But until LeBron had to give me a reason to think, all right, now I don't believe, and we're here now. But at the time, I'm like, no, I'm not. I play this. I learned my lesson, like thinking that LeBron James can't get something done. Right. So it is what it is.
He was never healthy. He wasn't healthy. He was never fully healthy. Then they lost Anthony Davis. All I'm saying is, bro, like we said earlier, there was a lot of different circumstances that helped both the Phoenix Suns and helped the Milwaukee Bucks. It is what it is. Not saying that they deserved. They won a championship. They got it done. But I would like to say this. Let's see what happens when everybody is healthy. Let's keep that same energy. Like when everybody is healthy. Not like when it's like every superstar and every major team in the NBA is hurt. That's what happened.
Right. I got you.
In the playoffs. That's what happened, bro. Like, but it is what it is.
But so we talking about, right, obviously the Suns, they just made the finals, and obviously they're led by a young star. Another young star in the Western Conference, Ja Morant, which kind of, leads us into the next segment that we're getting ready to have. We're getting ready to have some Memphis Grizzlies talk. Shout out to the 901. Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? It's Theus McBee. Make sure you go follow No Pump Fakes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right, so we're here with Meghan Triplett, digital content reporter for Grind City Media. How you doing, Meghan?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So the first question I have for you is, what are your overall expectations, what you're looking forward to the most for the Grizzlies this year?
I guess I have to say what I'm looking forward to the most is seeing fans back in the building. And in a regular season game, we haven't gotten a chance to really see that, but that's the most exciting part. And then just kind of the last 2 years has been about next gen Grizz. And now it feels as if we're in a new process of the next gen Grizz because we had gotten some new guys. We said goodbye to some new guys. And the main guy being Jonas Valanciunas, he meant so much to this team. And to see Steven Adams kind of step into that role, I'm really, really interested to see kind of how he fits into that mold. And then Ja Morant. I mean, I can't wait to see Ja Morant. It's his third year. And so just kind of seeing what the magic that Ja's going to bring out there to the court from his rookie year to his sophomore season. Now he's a junior. And so every single season he takes it to a whole nother level. And so I'm excited to see what Ja brings.
How good of a duo do you think Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. can be in the future?
I think it could be phenomenal. I think it can really, really be phenomenal. We've seen what they've been able to do, especially last year. And I know it was an unlimited amount of games since Jaren Jackson Jr. was in and out due to injury, but Ja and Jaren, they have a connection and they always talk about it. We see it more off the court right now when it comes to the fashion, this team, they hang out, they're cool. And they even said when Jaren Jackson Jr. came back into the lineup, they even said there's just a look that they can do. They don't even have to say anything to each other. And so I think, especially when you have that connection off the court, it can go very, very well on the court. Obviously, it can go so many different directions, but I really do think that this can be phenomenal, especially Jaren Jackson Jr. Once he starts to kind of get more minutes under his belt, get his legs going and finding his shot a little bit more this season. I think we just all need to sit back, get your popcorn ready, get your remote controller ready, hit record, because you're definitely going to watch it. It's going to be so good that you're going to rewatch it again.
Yeah. And how would you say too, the city of Memphis has kind of embraced Ja as a whole over his first couple of years there?
This is home. This is home for Ja. Ja's he's purchased a house here. He's always here. His whole entire family, his crew's here. His whole entire family. You really, really feel as if he has that Memphis culture, and he fits right in so fast. My first year was Ja's rookie year, so I've gotten a chance to kind of see him fit into this community. And I'm from Memphis, born and raised, so I know what it kind of takes to kind of fit into this culture. And I really can't. I'm really speechless because it's really been effortless. And then you see him go to grocery stores, you see him on, Instagram Live, Twitter Live. He's really embraced this city. And, I without the pandemic, you would really see Ja out. Even his first year, really got a chance to kind of like see that a little bit before the pandemic happened, but you would see Ja and his family everywhere.
Okay. Now, it was a report that Tony Allen and also Zach Randolph are both going to get their jerseys retired. So I want to ask you, can
That's
you talk
not
a
a
little
report.
bit? Oh, it's true. Okay, I thought it was. It's happening. Okay, I thought it was a report. Okay, it's happening. So can you talk a little bit about like the grit and grind Grizzlies and everything they meant for the culture of Memphis?
Yeah, that core group right there, that's kind of what my memory really is for the Memphis Grizzlies. Like I said, I've been a Grizzlies fan all my life. I remember when the whole expansion happened. I remember when we had to vote to get the Grizzlies, like people had signs in their yard saying, vote yes, vote no. And so it was like a really, really big deal. And when that core group got together, TA, Tony, Mark, and Zebo, it was just something electric and something special. I talked about it with Ja, with like saying that he fits into the culture here. Those four guys really, really did too. I mean, Zebo purchased a house here. Tony's still here. Like he still lives in Memphis. You can still see him out and about. I see him at the grocery store. I ran into him at Kroger one time just the other day. Like this is why they fit this community so well. And they really just have that attitude that Memphis represents. We're just like a blue collar city. It's a special city. We love to eat. We love to hang out. We believe in family, and those guys believe in family too. So those two games where we're going to get a chance to see their numbers in the Raptors, it's going to be so special. And like I keep saying, like if you want tickets to a Grizzlies game, those two games are the games to get. And I wouldn't be surprised if that game is probably already sold out.
Mm-hmm. How do you think those guys in that team would probably fit in today's league?
So I'm old school. Like I'm an old school girl. I'm an old school basketball girl. So I would like to say that they would fit into this league. I think Tony would. Like that mentality that he has, that defense mentality, he can go anywhere. And all he has to do is like disrupt someone's offense, get into their mind and their mentality. It can definitely happen. Zebo, I love a good old school player like that just gets down inside the paint. They'll push you around. I really do think, I know that people will say that the game has changed a little bit. I still think that there's aspects of the game that could still work very well within this new game that we've been seeing in the NBA. So maybe I'm biased because as you guys can see, I'm like a huge fan of them. I think that no matter what era, what time, that they would fit right on in because I really do believe in defense and something about, TA and Zebo, that type of defense that they did bring and how they were able to disrupt offenses. And then Zebo inside, like all he had to do was just like, he barely jumped to get the rebound. And then Mark pulling up from top of the key and just being able to like hit a three, get a rebound, put it back up. I think that they'll fit right on it.
Yeah, they're special. I mean, they were special.
Yeah, very, very, very special. Do you feel, though, I have to ask, do you feel that the Grizzlies at any point are disrespected around the league at all?
Disrespected is like I think it's a really strong word. I don't think we get enough respect. That's what I will say. I do think that I think this new season coming up, especially with the amount of national televised games that we're going to get, I think that we're going to get that respect that we've been really, really wanting because not a lot of people talk about the Grizzlies. Like Jonas Valanciunas last season, he was one of the top centers in the league. And I really do feel as if no one talked about that enough. Yes. The guy had a double-double every single night. Like, why do we not talk about that? And for what Ja was able to do, I think people got on the Ja Morant bandwagon a little too late. Look, we welcome everybody, come on board, but we knew that it was special. Just a matter of like, we didn't get those nationally televised games enough. And so I do think that this year, between ESPN, TNT, and NBA TV, we have, I think, like 10 or 11 games. I think that'll help. And a lot of those games, unfortunately, are on the back end of the schedule. I wish we could kind of like spread the love out a little bit more. But I don't really know why we don't get that love. I do think that these smaller markets, you don't have that glitz and that glam, like, LA or the New York Knicks. But I do think that we're almost getting there. Do y'all respect the Grizzlies? That's my dad.
Absolutely. We got you on the show. Of course. We wouldn't have you on the show if we did it.
I want to make sure. Wait a second.
Of course. Now I just had to make sure you get asked that question because I know obviously, being in a market like Memphis, sometimes, like as you mentioned, when other teams are in LA and New York, just making sure all 30 teams get their proper respect and their shine,
Yeah. Why do you think the Grizzlies don't get respect?
That's a tough question. Honestly, I would say the superstar thing, I think, probably has something to do with it. Even going back to the grit and grind teams, like those teams were based off literally just that team. Like even the Pistons squad, like, you know, when you don't have a superstar in you know, in terms of the LeBron and the KD levels, I think teams and leagues and people just naturally look at organizations a little bit differently. But that's just me. I personally respect the Grizzlies in terms of why others might.
I respect the Grizzlies. I think you hit it right on the nail, Theus. And also, I would definitely say that with Memphis, it's not a sexy free agent market. So a lot of free agents do not want to come to Memphis. And that's going to be something I'm a little worried about going forward in the future. If you look at Ja Morant, maybe that's kind of why you guys traded Jonas for Eric Bledsoe, but also for that 10th pick. They got Zaire Williams in the draft as well. So he can be a core piece in the future with Jared Jackson and Ja Morant. So that's probably the only reason why I feel like Memphis doesn't get the respect they deserve, because a lot of people don't want to come and sign with Memphis. But who knows? Maybe Ja Morant can change that.
Memphis, we have so much. Like any food that, like, do you like to eat? If you like to eat, this is the place to eat.
Barbecue, definitely.
Right, barbecue. There's a chicken wing spot almost every single corner. We love to have a good time. There's, you know, we might not have that glitz and the glam of shopping, but we had like that mom and pop shopping where you find the gyms where you got to search for what no one else will have. That's what's special about this city. And then I live here.
No, but for real, like St. Louis, I'm from St. Louis, so Memphis and St. Louis are like cousins. So I always got respect. I always got respect for Memphis. But before we get you out of here, we want to ask you one more question. We talked about the grit and grind Grizzlies. Who was your favorite player from that era? Gotta make you pick.
Do it.
Gotta make you pick.
If you had to choose one.
If I had to choose one, that's really hard. Because like, can I tell you my memories of all of them though? Can I do that? Are you almost like?
No, you gotta say one.
You gotta say one. There's no pump fakes. You gotta pick one.
No, you gotta choose one.
Well, I will say this: because it's so crazy being from here. I also interned for the Grizzlies for a season back during that time. And so I was young, I was fresh in the industry. I started out in PR. And so those 4 guys were there. And I can't tell you, like, they were all so welcoming, and so were their families. And there was just like this connection. So if I had to pick one, it's going to be the one that like I had a connection with their family, and that's Zebo. Zebo has, you know, his kids. I would help babysit his kids sometimes. Like, they just felt like family to me. You would see them sit in that first row, and they were always greeting everybody. They were always greeting the ushers. Like, everybody knew his kids. Everyone knew his family. And Zebo was always so welcoming to me. I got to go to AllStar that year as well with him and his family. And so just like, I was like a guinea pig, and I was like soaking everything up too. And so Zebo was always, would ask any question that I asked. And even now to this day, he's come on our podcast, Rise and Grind on Grind City Media. He's come on that several times. He still gives back to the community still to this day. And he's been out of Memphis for a couple of years now. Like, this will always still be home. So if I had to pick one, it's going to be Zebo, just because of like, it always felt like family, and you still get to see him around town. But every single guy, Marcus Law used to always make fun of me, but it was like, it was like in a loving way. He'd be like, Meghan, speak up. Come on. Like, don't be shy. Like, all of them always made me feel so comfortable. So it's really hard, but I guess you made me choose. I chose Zebo.
Well, you know, I'm glad you chose one. I mean, there was no wrong answer, but as long as you chose one.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no wrong answers here.
Yeah. Well, we go ahead, Ahmad.
No, I was saying it's crazy because like she just told us that story about Zebo, but most people, if you don't know Zebo around the league, you're like, this guy's a bully. This guy, but she described him as a teddy bear, so that's good to know.
Legit, one of the nicest human beings like ever. One of the nicest. All 4 of them are, but like Zebo is one of the nicest. Mike Conley, another guy who's just so genuine, who's still playing in this league, who also deserves more respect, I will say. And I think he's getting it. He's starting to get that. He deserves so much more respect. But when I think back to those core group of guys, it was more than just being on the court. It was what they represented off the court. And now when you go into this next gen Grizz, they represent the same thing, whether it might be a different makeup, but they still exude that same energy that I got from that core 4 group of guys. Been so blessed to work for both generations now. And what I see in Job and Jaren and Dylan Brooks and Tyus Jones, all of them, and Coach Jenkins, like, it's kind of feels as if like we just like duplicated it, but in a different way, you know?
Yeah, the modern day era, those guys play tough. So definitely.
Facts.
So are you guys going to a Grizzlies game? Like, I mean,
I mean, I live in New Jersey, New York area, so I may try to get down there.
That sounds like a pump fake.
Right, there's a thing called planes. I don't know if you knew that yet. Like, you just book a plane ticket.
It's a pandemic right now, so I don't know about getting on planes.
Put your mask on. Like,
what day did they play the Lakers? I might make some arrangements.
Here we play the Lakers in December. I know that it's in December. We play the Lakers way early in LA, and like I think it's like our second or third
December's
game.
December's not bad. If you get us some tickets, we're in there. We'll fly down.
I say we'll definitely be front row.
Okay, well I don't have front row.
We'll be in Memphis and we'll do a recording right outside for No Pump Fakes outside the arena.
Okay, so now that I've been on y'all's podcast, are you guys coming on Rise and Grind?
Absolutely.
Anytime.
Just let us know.
Just let us know.
All right, perfect. We'll plan it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate you, Meghan, for being on the show. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to the Grizzlies. Once again, Meghan Triplett, digital content reporter for Grind City Media. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Cap or no cap? Ja Morant will make his first AllStar Game appearance this year.
Man, that's a good one. Who the guards? Booker,
we're
Chris
not too
Paul,
sure
Chris Paul.
if they'll be in the same conference this year, buddy. Give that some time, my guy.
I'm gonna say Cap, and the reason I'm gonna say Cap because I don't think his team is gonna be good enough. Now, individually, I think you know how I feel about like I wish the All-Star games would be pick players selected who are the best players, not have anything to do with teams, but we know how it works. So I'm gonna say Cap. I don't think he's gonna get selected.
You know, I hear you only because I know you saying Cap, that was pain. You know, and like it wasn't an easy thing to say Cap just because of the situation. But that's how I feel sometimes when you ask me the question. I forgot which question it was, but I was like, damn, I hate to say Cap, but it's like I don't really have a choice because it's obvious.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about obviously the West got some great guards. Steph, I mean, James is no longer there. James Harden.
Steph, Dame.
Got my boy
Russell Westbrook.
Talk about it. We don't know what's gonna happen with Clay.
Yeah. It's a lot of good guards, and CJ McCollum could be a sleeper. So yes, CJ McCollum or Ja may be fighting for that spot because Jamal Murray's going to be out. But Paul George. Paul George is also a guard as well. You can have Spider. Oh yeah, Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough in the West. That's what I'm gonna say. Cap for Ja Morant.
You're gonna have that boy Luka.
He's not making it. Ja's probably not making it. Yeah, it's crazy because I don't think he's gonna have that team success either. Because DeMar DeRozan didn't even make it, and they were both the same with him and Ja. Like both those teams, like in the 8th, 9th play-in type of situation. It's tough
to make All-Star games. It's very tough.
It's very tough.
Regardless of age, man, it is very tough.
Especially for a guard. This is a guard-heavy league now. Like you got guys, conference. Look at my boy Fox. Fox could have made it last year, but like,
are you ready for the free De'Aaron t-shirts, or is it too late to? Does the guy have to be in the league for like 7 years or something before we start telling him to run?
I'm screaming free De'Aaron just like I'm screaming free Zion right now. It's free Brandon Ingram. Free all them guys. Free all them guys.
All right. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. When you say free a player from a team, that means their organization isn't doing their job.
Look at what the New Orleans Pelicans. We're supposed to be talking about Ja. Look what the New Orleans Pelicans did this offseason. They. What do you mean? Like, look, no, bro. Like, they let Lonzo. They signed and trade for Lonzo Ball. Let him walk away. Then they fired their head coach, and then it's just kind of like they gave a contract to Devontae Graham, who's a solid player, but it's just like I don't know what New Orleans Pelicans are doing. And they still haven't figured out like how can we really build around Zion and Brandon Ingram, bro? Like they are all right. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. The same thing that happened. History's gonna repeat itself. The same thing that happened with Anthony Davis. It's gonna happen with Zion Williamson, bro. It is what it is.
All right. So let me keep the question consistent. I don't want to shit on the Pelicans too much. But yeah, I mean, it'd be crazy though with Ja Morant talk about in the All-Star game, bro. If one day him and Zion made the All-Star game together and got to play with one another, that'd be
starting. Starting, not as like reserves. Starting. That's
starting.
That could possibly happen in the future because we got some guys. But shit, I don't even know because like Stephen Curry, we got these guys that are stamped playing so longer. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time and for them to like retire and leave and decline all that. But
like 5-6 years.
5-6 years is kind of tough, bro.
That's kind of tough, right? Just think about it. Let's really think. At least 5 for Steph. Steph is being the starter in the AllStar game for the next 5 years.
This man did just lead the league in scoring, so I can't see him be too surprised at it.
If Dame is still in Portland,
tell that man to run.
If he's still in Portland, he's going to run for 4 or 5 years. That's what I'm saying, bro. So it's like
tell that brother to run.
Devin Booker probably ain't never missing another All-Star game for the rest of his career either. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be tough.
Chris Paul. Oh, how we forget?
Chris Paul made it last year.
How we forget the backcourt that made it to the damn finals? Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's slow for Ja.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
it's slow.
It's all right though. I just want him to have a great season. Let him run. You know.
What do you? Yeah, I don't. It's gonna be interesting. I don't really like the direct. We couldn't really get into it earlier, but I don't really like the direction that the Memphis Grizzlies are going in when it comes to like either you're gonna do a youth movement or you're gonna try to like compete. Like I kind of like the guys. Like I like Jonas. I really like what they had last year. I think they got a little worse this year. Like you added on Eric Bledsoe and Steven Adams, and of course you got Zaire Williams in the draft. Eric Bledsoe, I'm sorry. I just don't understand like
what apologized.
I just don't understand like unless they're trying to use him for like trade capital. I don't understand like because you got Tyrus Jones backing up Ja Morant. Like I don't understand like why they brought on Eric Bledsoe, especially with I think he got like two years, like $40 million left on his
Bledsoe,
contract.
Man,
he's a solid player. He's still a solid player, but like I don't. You know, is he gonna want to be a 6-man now? Like, is he done being a starter in this league? Because he's not starting over Ja. He's not starting over Dylan Brooks. Like, he's gonna be a 6-man. Is he gonna be happy with that situation?
It's just crazy, bro. Because now he was on both of the teams that was in the NBA Finals this past year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He started for both of those teams. So now is Eric Bledsoe a 6-man? That's the question. Like, why are you bringing that into your locker room? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially for a young team. Like you want Eric Bledsoe to be your veteran presence. I can understand Steven Adams, but Steven Adams, work hard, gonna do what he do in the locker room, but he don't talk either. You know what I'm saying? So
honestly, I meant to ask that question to Meghan, just the idea of like, this isn't Steven Adams' first time playing with the athletic point guard. How do you think, those two will kind of fit in with one another?
Steven Adams is gonna be fine, but even Steven Adams is just like, maybe Steven, does he want to play for a contender? And Eric Bledsoe, we're probably going to hear like throughout the season, like he's probably going to be a trade like target, like because probably veteran teams are probably going to want him, especially if he can accept that 6-man role. But it's just kind of like accepting that 6-man role on a team that's probably going to be anywhere between the 7th, 8th, and play-in seed. It's kind of like you're like, what am I doing here?
Yeah,
exactly. So that's what I'm.
What am I doing here? I don't want to be here.
What am
I was trying not to bring up that tweet, but that was kind of a layup.
So that's what I'm a little worried about Memphis. So it's just like, what direction are you going? And then they're kind of like, even like you look at the Golden State Warriors, and we're not going to talk about this too much, but like the Golden State Warriors are in a similar situation because like they halfway want to contend, they halfway want to do the youth movement. So it's just kind of like you got vets that like, yo, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green was telling, Bob to go out and get another star with them lottery picks. They were like, nope, we got y'all. You guys are the stars. We're going to draft these young pieces. It normally doesn't work out. You normally can't contend and have a youth movement going on. Yeah, it's normal. Most times you got to pick one or the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they should be in conversation. Well, they should hold themselves to thinking that they can win with the team they have constructed now. The reason why I say that is anytime you got 3 Hall of Famers on your team who are relatively in their prime. I mean, I know Klay's coming off injury, but like...
Yeah, but these Hall of Famers it's a lot of things. Like Draymond can't shoot that pill no more. Like Draymond is not...
First of all, don't say no more. That's never been a part of their strategy. It's not like...
of course, but I'm saying, but he was a better 3-point shooter in the past than he is today. Right now, Draymond don't even look at the rim, bro. Klay Thompson coming off of Achilles injury, ACL injury, he's not going to be that same two-way player, same two-way defender. He's going to be able to shoot. That's an issue. Stephen Curry is also getting older. So it's just kind of like, that is an issue. So it's just like, you got the youth movement, you drafting these young players. Like, yo, they probably should have gone out and still should go out and get that number 25, boy.
All right.
It is serious.
We almost did it. We almost did it.
It is serious.
We
didn't even talk about him. That's crazy. But it's
I know. I tried my best not to. We almost went the whole episode without mentioning Ben Simmons to the
doesn't
Warriors.
matter.
We almost did it.
The question was cap or no cap.
Close.
Will Ja Morant make the playoffs? No, be second as an all-star.
This man really remember the cap or no cap.
Because we've been talking about different things. But it's cap. It's cap. See y'all next week.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next episode. Enjoy your holiday.
It's your boy, AK Smith, also known as AK. Make sure you guys go follow No Pump Fakes wherever you get your podcasts.